Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Moments away, we're going to talk about growing potatoes. But first, Honey Bee Healthy.
Since 2000, Honey Bee Healthy has helped beekeepers maintain healthy and thriving hives. Attracting pollinators to your garden this year is as simple as hanging a hummingbird feeder with a mixture of sugar water and Honey Bee Healthy Original. Don't be alarmed to see birds, bees, and butterflies dining together at the feeder. Pollinators coexist peacefully. Honey Bee Healthy Inc. is offering a 10% discount on an 8-ounce bottle of Honey Bee Healthy Original to this show's listeners. Enter discount code BEEGARDEN at checkout. For more information, mixing instructions, and to purchase the products, visit honeybeehealthy.com.
So, growing potatoes. Some people have great success with it. Others have a challenge. And it kind of starts with the actual aspect of what are you planting? It's the seed potato. Now, we've answered the question many times on this program. Do you need certified seed potatoes in order to grow potatoes? The answer is no. The advantage to seed potatoes is they are grown and are most times, if not all times, certified to be disease-free and be pure of a lot of issues that store-bought potatoes that has sprouted in your pantry may have. However, the store-bought potatoes, we have planted them and they have done just fine. So knowing the type of potato is also an important aspect because there are some potatoes that take 90 days to reach maturity. Some take 110, some take 130. That's a big range, and not knowing when the time to harvest or if the plant is actually ready to harvest or if there is a disease that have come into your garden. Because the potatoes at the time of harvest, they will die off, just like corn in an agricultural field. At the time of harvest, it will die and it's ready to be picked. Potato tops, the greens, will die back, and that's a sign in which they're not going to grow any anymore. So you want to start your potatoes at root zone. You want to plant them about 3 to 6 inches deep.
Well, one thing you can do is if they've sprouted, or you can figure out kind of where the sprouts are, you can cut them if you want to cut them smaller to about the size of a chicken egg, and then you can let them cure, or you let them cure.
You let them dry. You
out. You don't have to.
Right.
No. But I just want to mention that's something that you might want to do.
Now, some people will say, is it good to divide your potatoes in sprout? If you got a potato that's the size of a softball and there's 3 or 4 sprouts on it, and you cut the chunks of potato that has the eyes on it, and they're the size of a chicken egg, or can I just throw the whole potato in the ground? Yes, because there's...
You can do either.
Right. Yeah. Universities, extensions have done studies to show that the yield is the same. The only advantage to the cutting the potato in chunks is you can get more plants. The yield will be the same. So take that for what it's worth.
So you want to make sure that your root zone is going to be a minimum of 45 degrees.
Really 50. But 40 is if you really have to get in there.
You want to look at your long-range forecast like we've talked about. Just because it's 65 degrees today doesn't mean that in a week it's going to be 65.
But also at soil depth, it takes a while to get that soil to warm when it's been even moderately warm above.
Right. So that's the biggest thing, is just making sure that you're not planting them too soon. And then when you do plant them, some people will hill their potatoes, some people won't, and that's kind of your decision.
The advantage, the purpose of healing the potatoes, and that's the way I grew up doing it, is to keep the potato from being exposed to sunlight, because then when it turns green, it's not safe to consume because it can have some dietary or stomach, it can agitate certain people's digestive system. But if you plant it deep enough in loose soil, if you got clay concrete, this is not going to be a good ending for you. You're going to put a lot of work in and get no return on your potatoes. If you've got very loose tilth soil, you can plant them 4 or 5 inches deep and soil level, soil grade, and you don't have to hill them up. Also, healing them up kind of helps you identify at the time of harvest what you got or where you're going to dig.
Absolutely. And it's some people might just like how it looks too.
Yeah.
All right, so mulch. Do you need to mulch your potatoes? Do you not need to?
Well, I think you should mulch everything.
I think you should mulch everything.
Straw.
I think that straw is good. And you want to make sure you're not putting like just dumping mulch on there, just a thin, maybe inch or two layer is fine.
Your potatoes are going to sprout, and then you can also add more straw on top of them, and you can soak them with a hose, and a lot of that straw will filter down into the crevices between the plants in order to help retain that moisture.
So it hugs the plant.
It hugs the plants.
Yeah.
It kind of does the work for you. Or if you're going to have a big rain, put the straw down, and then after the rain, kind of go and knock the straw off the plants in which it's kind of overabundant on top of.
Do you like hugging the plants?
You got to love your plants.
All right. So this is Joey's favorite one, is talking about this potato box that you see on the internet.
Everybody, you go on the internet and type in potato box, not tower, because that's different. Potato box. It's a 2 foot by 2 foot, 4 foot square box. And the premise is you put one layer of potatoes at the bottom, and as they sprout, the box is, I think, 4 foot high by 2 foot by 2 foot. Okay, so it's a cube type thing. You put a layer of potatoes. You cover that layer of potatoes up, and as they grow, you continue to cover them up and cover them until the box is completely full of dirt, and the potatoes are growing out of the box and down the sides and across the garden. And at the time of harvest, you're going to open the sides up, and you'll have 100 pounds of potatoes in that box. That is the biggest lie of any garden myth that there possibly is. If you do it in layers, you have one layer and another layer, then you're probably having more of an opportunity. And the reason why I say it is the biggest garden myth, biggest lie, there are literally hundreds of videos of this on YouTube. There is not a single one that is 100-pound success story. They will all come in. A lot of them will come in. I'm going to harvest this. They harvest it, and they get, if not less, about the same amount of potatoes that when they planted it. And they all have some reason why it didn't work. Oh, I didn't do this right. I didn't do that. It's never going to work. So don't worry about the potato. Because here's the other thing, folks. If the potato box worked, and you were getting 100 pounds of potatoes in 4 square feet, would you not think that the big boys of the potato world would have fields filled with boxes that were making 100 pounds a box?
No, because they don't have any internet.
They don't have any internet. I had a friend and this loft, a neighbor back home, he rode his motorcycle all over the country, and he went to Canada. And he'd pull it up to this farm. He didn't know what they were. And he asked the farmer, what is it? And he said, potatoes. He said, do you mind if I ride around the field? And he goes, yeah. Anyway, it was 8 miles long by 4 miles wide was the size of this potato field in Canada.
That's a lot of potatoes.
That's a big field.
Wow.
And if that was the case, that these potato boxes were, they wouldn't be planting them in the ground. They would have millions of boxes.
But they don't have internet in Canada.
It's not the point.
I know, that's a big potato field.
Yeah, but I mean, that if that was the moneymaker, everybody would be doing this. The big industries would be doing it, and it doesn't work.
Absolutely. So, can you or can you not grow potatoes in containers?
You can. You can certainly do it in grow bags, root maker grow bags. You can do it in burlap sacks. You can do it in terracotta pots. You're not going. Don't expect to plant one potato and get 17 pounds. There are some potatoes that will yield or produce more than others. But, you've got to plant a certain amount in order to get a decent return.
Did we grow potatoes in burlap sacks? Was that
we
what
did?
We were
Yes.
growing?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Yep.
That was cute. It was a cute little potato container.
Experiment.
It was, where did we get those from? Well, we got those from a coffee
shop.
Yeah.
But the root maker, they only last about a half season. The root maker grow bags, coupon code ROOT24, root ROOT24 to save 15% on your order at rootmaker.com. They will last. We've been using them for over 10 years without any problem whatsoever.
So as your potatoes are growing, you will see sometimes little potato flowers, or even they're like little tiny green seed balls as well. And that's not necessarily when it's time to harvest. When do you know potatoes are ready to harvest, Joey?
You will know when they're ready to harvest is when the plants begin to die back. And that is the proper time to harvest your potatoes. And you can dig them up with a garden fork is best. A shovel, not so much, because you're going to cut them in half. But that is the key. You don't want to eat those little tomato-looking like things on some of the plants, because those are the pure seeds, and it's a defense mechanism for the plant. So that's how you grow potatoes. So growing potatoes, if you need more advice, you can go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, and click on the search box and type in potatoes. You can also go to the money tab and see all the coupon codes that are available through the sponsors you hear through the program as well. Well, soon it will be warming up, Holly, and we will want to enjoy our yard without sharing it with those beetles and grubs.
Yeah, with spring pretty much here, it's time to start thinking about controlling beetles and grubs in your garden, your yard, etc. There's all sorts of always Japanese beetles being talked about. It seems like whether it be with your neighbors or sometimes even on the news, they're just a thing.
Grub Gone can be applied directly to your turf or ornamentals to control the grubs and lessen the impact that the beetles have on your yard this summer. Easy to apply with any commercial spreader or irrigate it right into the soil. It's been specifically created to target grubs and beetle invaders without harming beneficial insects such as bees, ladybugs, and butterflies.
And it's really, it's the only non-chemical that works. You can find out more at phyllumbioproducts.com. That's PHYLLOM bioproducts.com.